Hi there, I'm Chris Rogers from Rockin' Waves 11294, reminding you to listen to my show every Friday from 1 to 5 p.m. on www.blogtv.com/people/Chrismaster1. Again, that's blogtv.com/people/Chrismaster1 every Friday from 1 to 5. Rockin' Waves 11294. And you're listening to WGS Radio on Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, you're listening to Flip the Wolfman Jackson on WGS Radio on Blog Talk Radio. Ow!
As we turn to Monday Night Raw, before we get to what happened on the show, a question was asked on Skype that night. Ashley, you remember this because this person was talking to me about this. He was asking me the question of why all of a sudden have the brands split. You know, how come it's just no longer in effect anymore? You know, why are we seeing SmackDown superstars on Raw? And the answer I remember giving is I believe because at the time SmackDown ratings were not doing all that well, in my opinion, and I believe. You know, it's a good idea for you to showcase your talent and bring more attention towards Friday Night SmackDown by having them featured on your flagship program, which currently, right now, is Monday Night Raw or Raw Super Show, no matter how fucked up the...
And also, I think, if you remember back in the day when they brought in the brand, there were people that only watched Raw or SmackDown. But as it's becoming more and more accessible to people in various different forms, people are just watching whatever they can.
I want to start with Mr. Trucker Jones. Mr. Jones, why do you believe that the brand split is no longer in effect? And, you know, we're seeing, you know, across-brand competition, you know, SmackDown stars on Raw and vice versa, Raw stars on SmackDown.
I'm hoping that they actually unify all the damn belts and have more competition like that, like it used to be, where you have one World Heavyweight Champion, one Intercontinental Champion, basically, because U.S. Intercontinental title basically the same. One Divas title. I mean, it'll make more sense. You don't have no competition like back in the day with WCW. TNA is not on that level. So, consolidate your belts and make better matches and better storylines than what the hell's got right now.
Let's go to Mr. Go ahead. All right, Mr. Cody Hawkins, your thoughts on this? You know, apparently with the brand splits being dissolved, do you think that's a good idea for the WWE?
I think it'd be a great idea, just like it used to be, to go back to the old ways, you know, because you have more ratings, you have better ratings for both shows combined, you know, than to have just one brand host one, like a certain group of superstars, you know, and put more limelight on them. And I think it's best to shine the light on every one of them so everybody has an equal opportunity of that kind of not just fan interaction and a fan base, but as to the overall outlook of the WWE in general.
James, what's your opinion on this?
That's what's really hard to explain, but I think it's going for like I think say because of the ratings of SmackDown, how bad it is for SmackDown, and then when you showcase a lot of the stars on Raw, the SmackDown superstars on Raw, it just made SmackDown a whole lot better. Basically, and also the fact that it is good to have, like, it is like the old days where you don't have to worry about playing extension.
Alright, Andy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, what are your thoughts about this whole thing with apparently the brand split being dissolved and seeing like Raw stars and SmackDown stars on one show?
I don't know what to make of it, to be honest, because I don't watch SmackDown unless there's something really interesting to watch on SmackDown. And as for putting the two brands together, it can only be a good thing. But my biggest worry is the network that Vince is supposedly sorting out, this wrestling network, which I assume is going to be a 24/7 wrestling-orientated network that's going to be showing nothing other than wrestlers doing not only wrestling but cookery programs and this, that and the other. And I think it's going to be a bad move, a real bad move, because I think you can have too much of a good thing. In the UK, we used to get snooker on 365 days of the year, 7 days a week. Kill the sport completely. Nobody gives two shits about it anymore.
Well, again, everybody's got their own differences of opinion as to the combination of the Raw and SmackDown superstars on one show. Like Cody Hawkins said, going back to the old ways, and I really think that's a good idea. Another thing I'd like to allude to is what Trucker Jones said. It would be a really great idea. If you're having the brand split being dissolved and you're having stars go on both shows, Raw and SmackDown, it really don't make sense to have two different sets of champions. Why have a World Heavyweight Champion and a WWE Champion if they're both going to be featured on the same show? Why have a United States Champion and an Intercontinental Champion if they're both going to be on the same show? It's just, ridiculous. It kind of harkens back to the day, like in the 90s, during the Attitude Era, when WWE just had way too many titles. You had the European title, you had the Intercontinental title, and then you had the WWE title, you had the tag team titles. They just had way too many titles.
Yeah, but that's when you have a large roster. If you're going to cut the titles back, you know what that's going to also entail? Cutting the talent back.
Well, yeah, he does.
You can't have, okay, let's say there is 30 wrestlers, or 20 to 20. Yeah, let's say 20 wrestlers. You can't have 20 wrestlers all going over the WWE title, and the other, let's say 30 or so, given the 10 are divas, the other 30 all going for the Intercontinental title and the tag titles, because that's way too many. I think you can probably keep the titles and just have them as separate entities, like, have the US be the equivalent of the European, except with a US name kind of thing. I think there only needed to be one women's title, so I don't know why they introduced the Divas one, other than it was just going to replace the WWE women's one. But also, I can see why they unified the tag titles, because there was no point in having two sets of tag teams proclaimed as champions. So, but I think with the World Heavyweight and the WWE Championship, you've also got to take into the fact the lineage, because okay, the World Heavyweight title isn't the NWA or the WCW title, but it kind of follows down that line because that's what the belt was previously.
And don't be Billy Boudreaux saying, the next time you hear a Welshman saying boyo, be sure you give him $1. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Good night, everybody.
To listen to the entire show, click on the link in the description box.
This is Scott Phoenix, and you're listening to WGS Radio, Block Talk Radio.